Hello, my name's Richard Russell, and this is a 3-minute summary of our most recent quarterly catch-up, where we look at all the different queries coming in from around the country over the past 3 months. Richard at rsrconsults.com if you want to discuss any of the contents of this. And patient not present activity has been a huge source of queries over the past 3 months, especially since they recently brought the go live date forward from 1st of July to 1st of May. And there's loads of outstanding questions on what is happening with patient not present and how it's being paid for and how it's being communicated, etc. But one point to note, that advice and guidance where GP goes, I've got a diagnostic, I can see a shadow, I'm not sure what to do with it. I need some support from the hospital to see whether it needs to go to hospital for care or whether I should carry on dealing with it myself. Advice and guidance, that's before the referrals happened. It might then lead to referral, but it's before the referrals happened, and that gets some money. After the referrals happened, after the hospital's taken on clinical responsibility for the patient's care, where a waiting time clock has started, so we're talking about consultant-led activity here. If for some reason the consultant then reviews the diagnostics and goes, that shadow, that's no problem with that. We don't need to treat the patient, and they just discharge the patient after seeing the diagnostic results or whatever they do, and they can discharge the patient and stop the clock without actually seeing the patient. That time and energy they put in gets them a patient not present money. And that is post referral, once the provider's already taken clinical responsibility for the patient's care, discharging them in some kind of event where they don't see the patient. They might have seen the patient once or twice, but then when it comes to discharge, they don't need to see the patient. And that has been the biggest source of questions. Coding, moving to national prices, how we calculate local prices, how we go through disputes, what we can do with patient choice and referrals, and a bit more on pricing, and a bit more on activity reporting, and a bit more on local prices, and a bit more on activity reporting has all happened, and there's a bit more on pricing, and there's a bit more on coding and activity reporting. So there's quite a big trend between how we price and how we report activity has been cropping up over the 3 months. But the real big thing, beyond activity reporting and pricing, has been patient not present activity and how that's all supposed to work, or not. So we do have a session coming on that. I will be doing a 3-minute session purely on patient not present. So that should be ready in a week or so. If you've watched this short, thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed it. Richard at rsrconsults.com if you want to talk about any of it further. Goodbye for now.